Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 News at 5.
Our condolences for the family. And just, a tough time for our community as we.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for NBC 16 at 5. I'm Jacqueline Mazer. Lane County now has its first suspected coronavirus death. The patient was a 60-year-old woman who died last Saturday at Riverbend Hospital. 9 Eugene Springfield first responders who made contact with her are now in self-quarantine. Lane County health officials say the woman was self-isolating since March 3rd. This case makes the second presumptive positive coronavirus case in Lane County. Health officials say they're working to make contact with anyone who may have been exposed to the two cases. 2 people have already been identified for being in contact with the 69-year-old man who tested positive. They are currently self-isolating.
We are doing everything we can to slow the spread and prevent the loss of any of other community members.
Also says Lane County's sewage systems are being clogged. This as people are flushing napkins, towels, and sanitizing wipes down the toilet. Residents are being asked to throw these items in the trash and not in the toilet. The number of confirmed coronavirus cases in Oregon has now reached 75, including the 3 people who died. To break down the numbers for you, there are now 15 cases in Linn County, 6 cases in Deschutes, 3 in Benton, 2 in Lane, and 1 in Douglas County. There are still no cases reported in Coos County so far. Well, the schools remain closed in the Eugene area. Local districts are making sure youth still have access to meals. 4J and Bethel school districts are handing out free lunches this week. 4J school district officials say they have handed out 1,000 meals each day this week. Bethel school district says they have handed out hundreds of meals since the start of the week.
We miss our students, we miss our staff. Every day we come to work and we're lonely and we're thinking about how they're doing. And so being able to provide them with basic needs like food is, there's nothing better. We're glad that we can at least do this for them right now.
The 4J school district has 6 different locations, which will remain open through spring break and the school closure. Free meals are available for pickup Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to noon. The Bethel school district has 10 different locations with various operating hours. For more details, you can check out our website, NBC16.com. Well, testing availability for the coronavirus is still a big concern as there are strict criteria as to who will be allowed to get tested. Lane County health officials say they're working with local labs and the CDC to broaden the availability, but many people who show symptoms are left wondering if they actually have the coronavirus. NBC 16's Kelsey Christensen is live with the details tonight. Kelsey.
Jacqueline's right. I spoke with a woman today who was self-isolating for 14 days. She presented the symptoms for the coronavirus, but she says her doctor told her she can't be tested right now. Now, Lane County Public Health says the criteria for testing is a cough, fever, difficulty breathing, and the need for hospitalization. There are exceptions for testing, like for those who have pre-existing health conditions and are at high risk. The woman I spoke to today is fairly young and healthy. Her doctor told her that she showed all the symptoms of COVID-19. But unfortunately, they don't have the testing for her. She was told to self-quarantine for 14 days, acting as if she does have the coronavirus. The quarantine includes her entire household.
But it's very frustrating because I don't know if I actually have this. We've completely upended our lives.
Governor Kate Brown announced that 20,000 more test kits are coming to Oregon and 5,000 should be here very soon. And also Jason Davis says drive-up testing could become an option in the near future, but there's a lot of logistics to sort through. He says swabs and chemicals to conduct testing are in the highest demand. Jacqueline.
All right, great report, Kelsey. Thank you. Now, as a reminder, Lane County Public Health does have a non-emergency call center available to answer any questions. That number is 541-682-1380. People can also send any questions via email to corona-info@lanecountyor.gov. The call center is open daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Drive-through testing for the coronavirus is happening in Douglas County. Residents were tested following recommendations by their primary care physicians. Results should be available in the coming days.
So we think that testing is going to be key to knocking back this epidemic.
Drive-through testing is a quicker way for health officials to test people. Health officials are planning to implement additional drive-through testing sites in the near future. Well, with more than 7,000 coronavirus cases in the U.S., the White House announced new plans to increase production of medical supplies that are running low. Sarah Dolph has the story.
An increasingly dire warning from those on the front lines in the fight against coronavirus. Protective clothing, masks, and ventilators are in dangerously short supply. Today, President Donald Trump exercising a wartime power to draft American factories into producing critical equipment before it's too late.
We have tremendous numbers of ventilators, but there's never been an instance like this where no matter what you have, it's not enough.
FEMA is now activated at its highest level, and 2 massive Navy hospital ships are getting ready to head out to hotspots on the east and west coast. Lines are getting longer at hospitals and testing centers, and health experts are pleading with those who don't have symptoms to stay home. As worrying new information comes out of Italy and France, that younger generations, including millennials, may be at higher risk of serious illness than previously thought. People urgently warned to avoid large gatherings.
You have the potential then to spread it to someone who does have a condition that none of us knew about and cause them to have a disastrous outcome.
The U.S. and Canada agreeing mutually to close the border to non-essential traffic, and an unprecedented new way of conducting business in the Senate.
Mr. Manchin,
Members entering the chamber to vote one at a time, passing the first of 2 aid bills.
We are moving rapidly because the situation demands it.
The Treasury Department proposing a $1 trillion economic stimulus aimed at sending help to the biggest airlines and hotel chains and to mom and pop restaurants, like the one owned by Peter Daphnos.
We need help now. Now.
Washington still trying to hammer out the details of help that many Americans agree can't come soon enough. Sarah Dolph, NBC News.
The stock market hit red numbers once again. The Dow Jones dropped more than 1,300 points and closed below 20,000 for the first time in 3 years. The Nasdaq dropped 344 points and the S&P 500 fell 131 points. All right, well, moving on to a first look at weather. NBC 16's meteorologist Josh Kozart joins us now with more. Now, Josh, some good news finally amidst all the scares out there. So good weather
and
today.
you know, a lot of us are spending a lot of time indoors, but that doesn't mean you can't maybe sit out on your back patio or maybe take a brief walk, of course, keeping that social distancing at bay as temperatures were really on the mild side, warming up close to the 60-degree mark and clear blue skies yet again over the downtown Eugene area, much of western Oregon, as temperatures slide back into the upper 50s. But radar and satellite just holding tight to a few more clouds closer to the coast. But it's kind of a double-edged sword because it's putting all the trees into blossom, and we did hit high pollen levels, extreme conditions for the trees, and that will likely continue for Thursday, Friday, and yet again on Saturday. But temperatures, they're going to be sliding back into the 30s with plenty of sunshine yet again tomorrow. And the first official day of spring also rings in at 8:49 p.m. tomorrow. And I'll let you know if those spring-like conditions continue for the rest of the week in just a few minutes.
All right, Josh, sounds good. Thank you. Well, several grocery and retail chains are now offering special hours for seniors and those with pre-existing conditions. Safeway and Albertsons will extend shopping hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 to 9 a.m. Whole Foods will be providing services 1 hour before the store opens to the public. Market of Choice will be opening their doors on Tuesdays and Fridays from 7 to 8 a.m. Target is reserving the first hour of business on Wednesday, while Dollar General reserves time during the first hour of every day. Stores are alerting customers that store hours are being updated. They're asking customers to check local times before shopping. Restaurants and food carts in Oregon are getting used to the new normal imposed by the coronavirus threat. Eateries are working under new orders from Governor Kate Brown. She announced this week that sit-down seating for restaurants and bars is prohibited. Those places can only fill takeout orders or deliveries. The same is true for food carts. For longtime owner Tom Bolag at Chef's Kitchen, it is back to the future. He says his business started 27 years ago in South Eugene with takeout orders only.
We're committed to doing the things that need to be done to hold this virus at bay. I'm providing something that I think is helpful because you're not going into a grocery store with 1,000 other people breathing their air.
Boleg says he'll offer a modified menu for takeout orders next week with lower prices. The Coos County Sheriff's Office is making some changes in their response to crimes in the wake of the coronavirus. Sheriff Craig Zani says while citations are still being issued, they are limiting bookings to violent crimes to lessen possible exposure.
Measure 11 crimes, rape, robberies, domestic violence, violation of restraining orders, those type of things that always are our greatest concern will continue to be booked as they were.
Sheriff Zani says these changes are to make sure people coming to the jail have a legitimate reason to risk exposure. He also says they are not releasing people early. They're cleaning often, screening inmates, taking their temperatures, and restricting visitor access and contact, of course, within the jail. If a person in custody has a fever, officers will take them to a hospital. If it's a violent felony, arrangements will be made. Well, for the latest information about the coronavirus, make sure to visit our website. That's NBC16.com, our Facebook page at KMTR News, and download our app, KMTR News, on your mobile device. Now, coming up next on NBC 16 at 5, Joe Biden is still in the lead to win the Democratic nomination, how the coronavirus is delaying some primaries.